So today we're talking tools. And by tools, I'm not referring to your typical screwdriver or hammer or anything like that. By tools, I'm referring to tools that a buyer could bring along with them during a tour or a showing to help them better understand the property. Now, if you have a really good realtor, there's a chance that they have some of these tools. More than likely they don't, but again, just throwing it out there, if you have a really good realtor, they might have these tools already. So, to be honest with you, these aren't tools that I came up with. I put in the search to ChatGPT and I said, well, if I were a buyer, what kind of tools would I want to bring with me during a showing? And this is what ChatGPT spit out. So I may agree, I may not, but let's go ahead and move through the list. So ChatGPT starts out with a marble. Now, I wholeheartedly agree with a marble, okay? And the reasoning for this is, well, you ever go into a room and just wonder whether or not the floors are level, or if the driveway slopes one way or the other, or the count, well, you get the point, right? And a marble will quickly allow for you to do that. You can drop the marble down on the floor, see which direction it goes, and determine whether or not there's an issue. Next on the list is a level. Well, to be honest, I think if you have a marble, you don't really need a level. So maybe this is an and/or scenario. Next on the list is notepad and pen. Now, I do agree with this if you're looking at multiple homes, because if you're looking at multiple homes in one day, sometimes they run together. So carrying a notepad and pen will allow for you to just take some notes on things that you like, don't like, maybe some repairs or material defects that you'll need to consider down the road. So number 4 on ChatGPT's list is a camera or a smartphone. Now, I really agree with this as well, but I don't think it's something that you need to go out of your way to have, because we always have our cell phones with us anyway, all right? But ultimately, having a cell phone with you that actually has a camera, and I believe every smartphone since 2002 probably has a camera. Anyway, just like the notepad, you can use the camera to take photos of things that weren't necessarily highlighted in the MLS, whether they are good or bad things. So having a camera or a smartphone is great. Measuring tape. Again, I like this one as well because a lot of times there are things that you're going to move to take with you that are large or small, and you want to determine whether they're going to fit in to the room or how much of the room they're going to take up. So having a tape measure, I think, is great, and they're really not expensive, and most people have one. So just throw one in your car and keep it there for showings. Next on the list is a flashlight. Well, again, if you have your cell phone, you're probably pretty good in that scenario, but having another source of light so that you can look into areas that maybe don't have a light bulb or that are just really dark and you want to get a better understanding of what's going on, well, it's obvious a flashlight is ideal for that. Moving on to an outlet tester. Now, in today's market where buyers are still trying to be as aggressive as they can, i.e. some of them are waiving contingencies that I wouldn't agree with. But this is something that you can buy at Home Depot, Lowe's, Amazon for less than $10, carry it along with you, and literally you can put it into an outlet, hit a button, and it'll tell you whether or not the outlet is functioning accordingly. And a lot of times when they're not functioning accordingly, it's because they're not grounded. But again, carrying an outlet tester, which you can get for less than $10, really isn't a bad idea at all. Infrared thermometers coming in at number 8. Now, I used to have one of these before because I'm a nerd, and to be honest, I don't know why I had one. But I can tell you that they do come in handy. So, for example, now this was a home inspection, but the home inspector actually set the thermometer, the thermostat, I should say, to whatever the number was, 75 degrees. And he let it run for a little bit. And then he took out the infrared thermometer and put it right on the heat source, right on the vent, right on the floor to see what that heat was blowing out at. Now, obviously, if it was blowing out less than what it was set to, there's a problem, okay? But in that situation, the air that was blowing out was either at or above where the thermostat was set, so we were pretty good there, okay? A moisture meter. Now, you don't think about this, and these are also relatively inexpensive. I just went on Amazon right before shooting this video, and I found quite a few of them for less than $15, right? But moisture meters are great because a lot of times you're going through a house and you look at the ceiling and you don't know whether or not the seller painted to hide something, i.e. moisture, or whether or not they just can't paint and they did a crappy job and you can see it on the ceiling. Well, a moisture meter will let you know if there is any moisture in between those surfaces, right? So if you're on the first floor and maybe the bathroom's above, it's a really good spot for moisture to build up, and you can use that moisture meter to find out if there's a problem. Coming in at number 10 is actually a checklist. Now, I don't know how much I agree with that, simply because, well, if your realtor is good, they should be kind of guiding you through the process, letting you know some things that you may want to keep an eye out for. But inspection checklists are usually going to be lengthy, and I really feel like that's going to take away from the showing. And now you're not looking at the house, you're doing a home inspection. So we'll leave that one alone. Number 11, I also don't agree with, but it says scent absorbing materials. Now, not to absorb the scent in the home, but if you've ever gone to a store to shop for fragrance, they usually have like coffee beans on the glass countertop. And that's because after you smell so many different scents, it's kind of hard to determine what it is you're smelling. So carrying along, and again, in this scenario, scent absorbing materials to help you identify if there are any odors in the house. I don't agree with that. Usually when I walk in, I can tell if your house stinks, right? If your house smells like a dog or a cat or cigarette smoke, I don't need coffee beans in my pocket to figure that out. Number 12, gloves and face mask. Well, to be honest, I've been in a lot of houses, and some of them I really wish I had gloves and a mask. But I don't know whether or not I would encourage my clients to bring it. I feel like you would kind of know in advance whether or not you need gloves and a face mask. So number 12, in my opinion, not worth it either. 13, Compass or smartphone Compass app. As we've already discovered, guess what, folks? We're bringing our smartphone. If your smartphone doesn't have a compass on it, and if you feel as though knowing the direction for you know what? For some people that is important, right? If you want to know which way the sun sets and rises, or if you need to have a satellite dish on your home pointing in a certain direction, then I could see how a compass would come in handy. But aside from that, not really. Okay. And lastly, binoculars. Since most of us don't carry drones around, I do, because again, I'm a nerd. A set of binoculars would be a great way to get your eyes or a better look at roof surfaces, maybe even looking up into some trees to determine whether or not the branches are dead or going to need to be cut, anything along those lines. That's really all I can think of when it comes to binoculars. And that's it. That's the list. They gave us 14 things to bring. And I really think some of these are good. And the things that you can buy, like the moisture meter and all that, they're generally under 10 or 15 bucks. So again, if you have the right realtor, you probably are in good hands and won't need this stuff. But in the event you have a mediocre realtor, which there are a lot of them out there, remember this video, remember this list. So I'm Chris Nelson, local realtor here in the greater Philadelphia area, helping buyers and sellers achieve their real estate dreams. And if I can be of any value to you outside of this list, feel free to let me know. Contact information is in the description. And as always, feel free to download our buyer guide, which is there to help you achieve your real estate dreams as well. So once again, folks, Chris Nelson, hope to see you here again. Till next time.